and welcome to another episode-ish edition thing of hashtag The Road. We are here in Minneapolis, right outside Mickey's Diner. And we're gonna do a little walkthrough of one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, Jingle All the Way. That works, right? My name is Milo Beasley. With 20 plus years in the professional wrestling industry, combined with my love for traveling, I've seen some pretty cool things over the years. Now I bring you along in these travels, as I never know where I'll end up or what I'll see or do along the way. With more than 4 million miles of roadways in the United States alone, we have a lot of ground to cover. So join me, if you will, on hashtag The Road. Our first stop is right here in St. Paul. Right outside the Palace Theater. So this, you may look a little bit familiar. But here's where we're going to go. And we are here, promenade right outside Afro Deli and Grill. In this promenade here, this is actually the first time that we see Sinbad in Jingle All the Way. Here at the Afro Deli and Grill. Was not the Afro Deli and Grill back in the 90s. This was actually the toy store. Playco Toys was right here. This is where we see Arnold trying to get inside. He pulls on the door is not open, right? So then he's out here on this promenade waiting for the doors to open. It's freezing out here, right? Like, it's not really freezing out here. I mean, I have a beanie, but it's kind of cold. It's November and it's Minneapolis. But this is where we see right here, like Arnold standing right here, Sinbad standing right here, right? They're talking. They're like, "Hey, why can't you open up the door?" So this is also where we see where they're looking for the Turbo Man. I promise not to do any silly. I said I wouldn't do that, but yeah. So it's no longer a toy store. I mean, unless you like sandwich. If you played with your food, don't play with your food. But none of this was here. But yeah, so this was the Playco Toys. This is where Arnold comes out all dejected. He starts chasing the lady down the street. Remember, he starts chasing the car because she just bought the last Turbo Man doll on layaway. So as they're coming this way, and Arnold is running after her this way. You see the skyline right behind me. It's the same skyline and buildings and crosswalks. You see Arnold running down the road, chasing her like a madman. I'm Arnold. So I don't know where we're going next. Where are we going next? Our second stop here, and our quest for Turbo Man is here at Pinwheels and. What is this? Pinwheels and Play Toys. So we don't see Arnold go inside of here, but we do see Arnold very dejected, like walk outside the toy store before he is finally met back up with Marlin Sinbad across the way. And while only a small part in that scene, the real action takes place right across the street from Pinwheels. Right here, there was a payphone. Right here, this is where Arnold calls his wife, but of course Phil Hartman answers the phone, and we get possibly the greatest line in the entire movie. The only reason why I am here right now is so Arnold could say, "Who said you could eat my cookies?" And that's why I'm standing here at this middle of nowhere. It took me 30 minutes to get here by Lyft. 2 lifts. So the first one didn't show. Anyway, you don't need to know about that. Anyway, we're still walking and talking. Marlin and so Sinbad and Arnold are still walking and talking around here, and they're still talking. You see this, and you see the store in the background the entire time, and then they're continuing to walk this way. We're going to continue to walk this way because right around the corner. We're still going around the corner. So going around the corner here is what used to be the Zumbro Cafe. Right here, this was you can still kind of see the sign right here, right? The Zumbro Cafe I just had a weird accent. So I'm gonna try to cross the road and I can. But right here where that car is, that truck is, that was right where Arnold backs his car, his SUV, into the cop's motorcycle. So they come from Pinwheel. So if you're like, where did he actually walk from the toy store to his car to get in and back into the cop's motorcycle? Yes, he literally walked from the toy store here to the Zumbro Cafe and runs into the cops. Maybe that's his car. We're almost done. This is where we see obviously the State Theater, but what movie is playing? It is Turbo Man. It's right now it's Steve-O is coming to town, but Turbo Man, the movie playing here at the State Theater. I'd go watch a Turbo Man movie. I mean, how about that? They're doing the sequels and prequels for everything. How about an actual Turbo Man movie? And the culmination of our Jingle All the Way tour here in Minneapolis, the Nicollet Island Pavilion. Yes, this is the North Pole. This is the workshop. This is where we see Arnold, whatever you want to call him. This is where we see Arnold come looking for his Turbo Man doll after meeting Jim Belushi. What is this, 60 Minutes? Who are you, Dan Rather? Anyway. But we also see the Big Show in here. And then, of course, we see the cops busted. But anyway, so, here we are, right outside Santa's workshop. The Nicollet Island, what is now the Nicollet Island Pavilion, here in Minneapolis. Now, it's host to banquets and things like that. You can get married. You can get married here. Are you a Jingle All the Way fan? You can get married at Santa's workshop. And maybe the Big Show will come and hang. I don't know. It's really cold. So we're gonna go over here. So this is the entrance of right over here. This is exactly where Arnold, Santa go in here. All right, so again, here's the entrance, which means when they come out of the entrance / exit, they get thrown up against the doors right here by the police, which is probably this one right here. Can't obviously go inside, and I don't know how much was done inside or inside of a soundstage. We are outside of Mickey's dining car here in Minneapolis. This is where you'll see Arnold Schwarzenegger rolls his car. He runs out of gas. Of course, pushes his car here in front of Mickey's Diner. Interesting thing about Mickey's Diner is while you do see the outside of Mickey's Diner, and you see Arnold and you see Sinbad go inside to eat, as you can see, there's no room in here to actually eat for them to do this scene inside of Mickey's Diner. So it appears that might have been like a Hollywood Magic soundstage or something like that. But here also Mickey's Diner, also where, not Jingle All the Way related, but where Charlie's mom worked in Charlie Conway in Jingle All the Way, or I'm sorry, not Jingle All the Way, Charlie Conway from Mighty Ducks. His mom worked here at Mickey's Diner. So a little 2-for-1 action here. Now we're gonna walk that way. Another little fun fact about Mickey's Diner here, it actually just reopened. It was actually closed for a little while. Originally opened in 1939, designed in 1937, opened in 1939, and they knew that I was coming back here for Twin Cities Con, so they just opened it like 3 weeks ago. So thank you, Mickey. By the way, has anybody ever told you that you're so fine? You're so fine, you blow my mind, Hayden. So still here in our St. Paul version of Jingle All the Way, here at 360 Wabasha Street, which is, you may recognize as the KQ92. I'm gonna get run over. This is the radio station, the home of the radio station where Sinbad and Arnold are trying to win their Turbo Man dolls on the radio. This is I can't really see it. You may recognize this is the walkway. You'll see Sinbad originally run on there, but this is the walkway where they give the cops the fake bomb, which actually turns out to be a real bomb. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to get up in that. This is no longer a radio stop. I mean, it wasn't a radio. It's Hollywood. It's an attorney's office, which I'm trying to figure out how to get up there to that skywalk. But anyways, again, we see Sinbad run through the skywalk. This is where the building gets blown up, and then this is where right out here on the streets. This is where Sinbad's like, it's a sick world we're living in today. Let's go to Minneapolis. You know, where Twin Cities Con actually is, because I actually do have to get to work. I should probably work. And one thing I do want to point out, if you are doing this as well, everything is super nearby. So the radio station, the toy store, the toy store is right about that skyway. Not that guy. Right about that skyway. Everything is right there, and then Mickey's Diner is just another block away from that. So if you are trying to recreate these footsteps, everything at least the St. Paul stuff is all within super reasonable walking distance. Now, the Minneapolis stuff, not so much. Anyway, I gotta get to work. Again, so thank you for watching this episode of Hashtag The Road. We had a lot of fun in Minneapolis, but we got to get back. There's a bunch more places here in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area that I would have loved to gotten to for the Jingle All the Way. Of course, the Mall of America has a lot of iconic scenes with Sinbad and Arnold. And I would have loved to have been able to take you to Arnold Howard's house, because it doesn't look anything like it did in was it 1996? Woo! Yeah, right? Golly. Anyways, I just feel bad now thinking about that. It doesn't look anything like that. So I would have loved to have been able to show you the before and the after. I can do that in post, actually. But anyway, I want to say thank you for hanging out with me on this episode of Hashtag The Road, our Jingle All the Way edition, as we're leaving Santa's workshop. We don't want any trouble. We also don't want the cops to come busted in. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me. We went to some toy stores, the North Pole, right? We went to the radio station, Mickey's Diner, of course, Mickey's Diner in both Mighty Ducks and Jingle All the Way, which reminds me, future episode of Hashtag The Road featuring Mighty Ducks locations. All right, I gotta get to work. Gotta go talk to people. I gotta go talk.